So hello everyone, welcome to I'll Be Sewing. My name is Gina, and today we're going to be doing a slightly different video. We got sponsored by Sewers Club. Sewers Club is a subscription box that you can subscribe to get some sewing products, something for you to sew, and you can pay monthly or every 3 months. So they send us this box, and they also will be giving one to one of you. All you have to do is make a comment and let us know what you think of the box and what kind of products would you like to see on a box like this. So you can, like I mentioned, you can subscribe monthly or every 3 months. It's also really good if you would like to do, like, for a gift for no coming Christmas. We always struggle trying to find things to give our we have sewing friends or grandmother that sews or your daughter that sews. At least you can get a 3-month subscription, and they would get one in for Christmas, and it would be sent to them, and coming from you at least would be more of a surprise. And if you do the 3 months, then at least it's a gift that keeps on giving. I'm gonna the code for you to get a little bit off. They give us a code. It's called OWL. It's like owl from the name of my store, and it will give you a $6 off in your first box. That's the same as 25% of your first box. So we're gonna go ahead and open this box and see what's in it. This is the October box, so I'm gonna go ahead and just open it and we'll see what's in it. So it comes with a little card on the top, so it has my name and says, "Hi Gina, we do have some goodies for you. This month box contain," it tells me the materials. There's Northcott Autumn Woods, there's Toscana Orange for binding. There's 14 inches of Northcott Shimmer, yellow backing, and a pattern that to do the box. Of course, I wouldn't be giving you any measurements or any instructions exactly how to create the pattern, because it's not my pattern. And so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to open everything and see what's in it, and I will be sewing this project, and I will showing different steps of the project and what I think how easy it is. So let's see. So I'm going to put it here. So it's wrapped really nicely on tissue paper. It's orange. I guess it's a fall theme. So we're going to go ahead and just open it and see what we have here. So there's my tissue paper around. So we have, I'm assuming this is the fall, the autumn woods, and it's wrapped and it's tied up with some string. And I'm just gonna go ahead and open. So this is my main. I'm assuming this one is for the accent, and this one here for my back. So this one is for accent and the binding, and this one is for my back, and this is my main. And they also included the batting. A lot of boxes, or a lot of sometimes package that comes like that, sometimes they never give you the batting to sew with. They always only give you sometimes to do the top, and the ones that sometimes they do give you, and this looks like it's for a table runner. So and most of the kits that sold out there, most of the times doesn't come with your batting or anything to go in between. You'll have to provide that. So this is not too bad. It's pretty good actually. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna cut my pieces according to my pattern that I have here, and then I'm gonna show you the pieces sewed together. I also gonna show you maybe halfway through the project and more towards the end. Also, I'm gonna give you a couple tips on doing the binding and a couple other sewing tips on this video, so you guys at least get a little bit more of it. I think this looks pretty easy. Has a little picture in the back how I have to do it. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut it, and I'll be right back. So I went through the first stage of the pattern. So now I gotta put all these together. So I saw my strips, I have to put it together. What I want to show you is this pattern is very simple. It's actually very good for beginners because you don't really have to match anything. I just want to give you a couple tips here. In general, for any table runner, it doesn't have to be this one or any quilting project that you're doing. This always is really good to know. Some of you I'm sure already know, but for those that don't, so I'm supposed to be putting 2 and 2 together. And normally when we join pieces, sometimes if we're not exactly precise, and this is the tip that I want to give you, sometimes we go put our pieces together, and what happens is we have one that's slightly bigger than the other. You know, so my bottom could, one of my pieces could be slightly bigger. It could be because I saw maybe my 1/4 of an inch wasn't exactly on, and any other reason, or maybe I cut it a little crooked, or you know, and then out of the blue I have one that's bigger than the other. So what we're gonna do, I suggest don't trim it. Normally in quilting, most of the time what we do, we make it fit. So making it fit is you have to make these pieces together, so they have to fit together regardless if one is slightly bigger than the other. So what you're gonna do, you're gonna pin this edge here, and you're gonna put the piece that's slightly bigger, if you have a bigger one. Mine is not bigger, but just imagine that one of my pieces was bigger. You would pin this side and go ahead and pin this side, and you would put the bigger piece to the bottom, and then when you sew, you're gonna feed that bigger piece to the feeding dogs. So your foot will be sewing here, and the feeding dogs would be here, and it will be leveling off your fabric, because the teeth that you have in the bottom will pull your fabric, and the top foot, because it's flat, is going to stretch slightly this one. So you're going to end up, just make sure you don't move the pins, and you'll be fine. You just hold it and start sewing. I will also, most of the time when I piece table runners or quilting or anything like that, I decrease my stitch length to 1.8, because a smaller stitch length will eliminate the stretch of the fabric. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and sew all my pieces together, and I'll be right back. So I sew all my pieces. Now I'm starting to sandwich it with my batting and my backing. Fabric wise was really good. I still have some pieces left over, so it was okay. All the measurements that all the fabric that was in there was really good for the runner. So don't trim your batting, because we're gonna have to quilt it. So you should leave this slightly, you should leave this slightly longer, a little bit on each side and a little bit this way. Also, the backing should be done the same way. So I'm gonna put my backing down, and I'm gonna go ahead and put it on top. And I'm using 505. That's what I'm using as a spray, as a temporary adhesive. So we'll stay on the fabric until it's washed, but at least we'll keep it put so I can quilt it. So just spray a little bit. And another thing that I would like to mention is, sometimes when you're doing stuff like this, and if you have a light backing, make sure you don't have anything in your batting, because otherwise you'll see it through. So you don't want that. So you want to make sure your batting is nice and clear without any strings. So I'm going to go ahead and just use a little bit of spray. I'm going to go halfway and put it down and push it really nice. I'm going to do also this side here, all the way here, so I can actually, just a little bit, don't need a lot. And I'm gonna go ahead and quilt it, and then so I already quilted, and now I'm gonna show you how to do the binding. I actually didn't cut the binding yet, because I wanted to show you a couple of things. I'm sure some of you already know, but for those that don't know how to cut certain things, so I'm just going to show you how to cut your fabric. So it's up to you if you want to wash your fabrics before or not. I didn't wash these ones, but you can. And if you do, after you wash it, you have to press it, put selvage and selvage together, and you have to cut a straight edge to make sure that you have a stretch edge here, so we can cut the 2.5. Most binding and almost the quilts and runners and everything is always based in 2.5, but there are some patterns that will cut for a 2-inch. It's just I find the 2-inch sometimes is slightly smaller. In this case here, I'm gonna cut 2.5, and I'm gonna need 3 strips, about 3 strips, and I'm gonna join them together. So what I want to do is my fabric, because I had already take some fabric out of here, so what I did is I put selvage and selvage together, fold it in half and press it really well, and then I'm gonna also fold it again here this way, and I have a straight edge here, and I'm gonna put my ruler at 2.5, and I really want to use the ruler versus the mat, because mats, they change from different every mat could be slightly different. The only way you can really tell if it's right 1 inch is if you sometimes go there and see if it's exactly 1 inch. This one is actually not bad, but some of them, they have sometimes 1/8 of an inch off their little squares that they have here. So if you're going to use the mat to cut your strips, then use for your whole project, you're going to use the mat. If you're going to use the ruler, use the ruler through the whole project, because you'll have better measurements that way, because so now you know everything was cut with the same either same ruler or the same mat. Measuring tapes also, sometimes with time they get stretched, and sometimes the inch could be slightly 1/8 of an inch off of 1 inch, could be slightly bigger. So I suggest either you use a ruler, because rulers normally don't stretch and the measurements don't change, or if you're gonna use the mat, make sure you cut all your pieces through the mat and don't mix the pieces while you're measuring. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and so I'm gonna find a straight line here and a straight line here, and I'm gonna cut the 2.5, and I have 2. Ooh, I didn't cut it right through. So just make sure, if that happens, just make sure you go back and even it out again with the bottom and cut it again. Okay? And because in this case here, you're actually protecting the 2.5 inch that you're cutting here on the ruler, you know this piece is going to be straight. In this case, if this wasn't slightly straight, then you can go here and straighten it again and start it all over again. So I'm going to go ahead and cut another one. I need 3 pieces. 2.5. And I still end up with a little piece extra here from the fabric. So was plenty of fabric to do all the pieces that I needed. So we need to join these 3 strips. And so now we need to do a marking here, because so if you're not sure which side to sew, because sometimes often we can do the wrong line either here or there, so what you do is you need to know that these are going to join like this, so you know the line that you need to do is going to have to be from there to there. So you get your ruler and put your piece straight there from corner to corner, and you're gonna go ahead and draw a line. Put a pin so your fabrics don't move, and then you can sew that, and we're gonna do the same thing to the next strip. So I know that this has to go this way, so my line has to go from there to there. So I'm just gonna avoid my selvage, and I'm gonna go ahead and do my line that way. And see, if I check, I know this is gonna go like that. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and join those. After they're joined, it again is just the standard way of doing binding. You're gonna take this to the iron afterwards and fold in half and press it. And then I'll show you how to add it to the runner. So I trim my runner all the way around, and we're ready to attach the binding. Most people, and I do in some projects, I will do it this way. I will attach my binding from this top, and then when I sew it, I will be turning it to this side. So I end up like this. But on this case, I'm actually going to do it on the opposite. So I'm going to go ahead and sew it on this side, and I'm going to be turning on this side. Because I'm going to be sewing my binding by machine, I prefer to have this folded to this side, so the nicer side will look here. Or you can sew this by hand. But binding is just standard. Like, there's tons of videos out there that you guys can even watch on binding. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pin it, take it to the sewing machine and sew it on. So the open edge to the edge of my fabric, and I'm gonna go ahead and pin it. And you guys, I'm sure you've watched other videos on binding. When you get to the corners, you turn this direction to the other direction like this, so creating a straight line here and a straight line here, and you fold it back here and you sew it again. So you can stop either 1/4 inch before the edge of your fabric, or you can sew right to the end. And you're gonna do, and then this one folds in here and you sew down. You're gonna do that to all 4 corners, and I will show you how to join the binding. I'll be right back. So I attach my binding. So I'm gonna go here, and how am I gonna attach these 2 pieces together? That's what I want to show you. There's some tools that you can use to help you with that, but if you don't have a tool, what you can do is you can use, this is 2.5, so you can measure 2.5 this way and put your longer strip on top and trim it at there. Another way that you can do is, let me just grab some scissors. So another way that you can do is you can trim a little piece from here, because you already know this is 2.5, and you go here on top of here, put it on top of this one here. You're gonna bring this on top of it, and then that's where you need to cut it. So I'm gonna go ahead and trim here, right where my strip is. Just straighten it up. So you see the 2.5 little piece that I cut from here, I put it here on top, so I don't even have to measure, and I bring this one right on top and I trim it there. Now I know I am good for it. So now what do? You open the one that's on top. You're gonna open it like this, okay, and then the one on the bottom you're also gonna open. So, and what you're gonna do is when you open that part here that was folded here, this part here, you're gonna go like this and bring it to the bottom when this is open, not to here, of course this would make sense like that, no, to the bottom of this one here. So this is going straight like this, so, and this one is straight like that. That's gonna come like that. You're gonna go ahead and draw a line across here. If you need to take a couple more stitches out, you can go ahead and do that if you don't have enough room to sew, but you're gonna go ahead and do it like this. You're gonna do a seam from there to there, across like that, and by doing that, I'm just gonna put a pin so you see it. Let me have another pin. And if you see, there you go. Then you're going to turn it to the other side, to this side here, after that's done. Okay, I normally take it to the iron and I press it. I fix all this around and I press it. If I have any strings, I trim it. And I'm going to sew this down here. And no, because I'm sewing it here, I'm going to sew it right at the edge. And I don't have to worry too much here because this here is my back. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. So my runner is finished. I actually really like this project. I think this is very easy for beginners because there is no matching at all. And also for quilters, you know, for people that's starting and on quilting and stuff, this is a small project that you can actually play around and do kind of different designs if you choose to. And, you know, because sometimes big projects could be overwhelming when you start to learn to quilt. And if you would like a chance to win a Sewers Club box for the month of November, just leave us a comment in the bottom and let us know what you think of the project, and also what you would like to see in these boxes. And if you'd like to join the club and get and subscribe for a monthly subscription, just use the word OWL for $6 off or equal to 25% off of your first box. And our project is done. I hope you enjoyed it. Happy sewing, everyone.